Okay, can we all see it? Please confirm.
Yes, please, we can see it.
Yes, we can see. We can see. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I can see from here.
So our facilitator's name is Patrick Akam. He is a transformative business leader and people manager with 14 years progressive and versatile experience, serving across non-profit, manufacturing, real estate, financial services, hospitality, oil and gas industry, as well as delivery public sector projects. His experience covers provision of leadership across people and culture, business strategy and operations management, and strategic project implementation. He is an alumnus of Rome Business School, where he bagged an MSc in International Human Resource Management. He also holds an LLB in law. He is a member of various professional bodies, both locally and globally. Patrick is currently the Group Head HR, Steel F Holdings Limited. Can we all welcome Mr. Patrick with our virtual round of applause, please? Hello, Mr. Patrick. Can we welcome Mr. Patrick with our virtual round of applause?
Hello, everyone. Patrick is having some technical issues. Just bear with it. He will join us shortly.
Okay. So before then, can we just share our thoughts on compensation and benefits? We have some wonderful people in the house, which I can see here. Can we just share our thoughts on compensation and benefits before Mr. Patrick can join us? We are talking about fundamentals of compensation and benefits. So can we just engage ourselves before Mr. Patrick gets to join us? Hello, people in the house. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear
you. So please, can we just share our views on compensation and benefits before we get to be joined by our facilitator? Okay, Larry Raju William is raising his hand. Please, can you go ahead and speak?
Okay, good evening, everyone. While we await our facilitator to join us, please let's anybody just be on the lookout for him so that I am not eating into his time so much. I just want to let us know that when we talk about CMB, I think the first thing that comes to each and every one of mind is that, okay, we want to compute payroll and much more. A lot of people want to know, okay, how do we do the payee because of, for example, maybe my organization don't have an ERP, and then I want to use the spreadsheet and I want to get it right. So that's, but it's much more than that. When you start from job planning, and when you want to, you've done your manpower planning, and you want to look at, okay, job evaluation. So at that point in time, once you start doing all those stuff, you are beginning to actually go into the right path. And how do I mean? And when you begin to do job analysis and evaluation, that's when you know that, okay, when you look at the role of for example, a managing director, you are aware that, okay, this person has a lot of functions, it requires a lot of experience, a lot of high level of education, and compared to maybe a janitor. So in a nutshell, something is coming up when you want to compensate. You know that, okay, at this level, this person earns more than this person because of the CADA is. And also, I guess it's going to actually open our eyes into that the pay scale, or so when people in the public sector level 8 step 4 or level 9 step 3, things like that. So these are things that we actually need to know how to do when we're talking about C&B. And C&B, as it were, is much more broader than saying you want to compete salary. When it's a benefit, now in this age and time, a lot of things have come into C&B, the traditional one that we know. When we talk about HMO, it's a benefit. You see crèche, it's a benefit, evolving into benefit aspects. And in this, because we are competing with a lot of organizations and in the same industry, and you want to keep your best, and when you're talking about employee engagement and you want to manage your talent. So I trust that this evening is going to open our eyes to see a lot of some of these things. So I'm not the facilitator. I don't have a slide. Just let me speak to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you. We know you're not the facilitator, but you did a wonderful job. Thank you for your contribution. We really appreciate it. Is there any other person in the house that wants to contribute? Let's just get it going before the facilitator can join us. Is there anybody in the house that wants to contribute?
He's here now. He's here now. He has joined us.
He has joined us. Okay. So welcome, Mr. Patrick.
Hello, good evening. Apologies.
Yes, can we give a round of applause for our facilitator, a virtual round of applause? Let's welcome him, please. Welcome, Mr. Patrick. Welcome.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good to have you here.
Thank you. And again, apologies for coming late. I was battling with technical issues. Apologies. Great to be here. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to really talk about this topic. I'm very passionate about it, and I'm sure at the end of this conversation this evening, we're going to leave people. Nice to be here. Thank you all for the wonderful welcome. Thank you. Hello, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes,
very well.
Yes, you can hear you.
Yes, we can.
All right. Do we comment? Do we dive right into it?
Yes, yes, please. You can have the floor. You can have the floor.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Please give me a second to share my screen.
Can any of the host or co-hosts begin to record as well, so that we don't miss any of the... Thank you.
All right. Please, can anyone confirm that my screen is...
Yes, we can see the screen.
Can anyone confirm that
we
my
can
slide...
see
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, we can.
All right. All right. Thank you. And again, thank you all for having me here. It's indeed a pleasure. So just to ride on the wonderful foundation that was given in the introduction, today we're talking about comp and ben. This is just a webinar, so I don't expect that at the end of this webinar we will become comp and ben professionals. But one of the key takeaways and guarantees that I can give is that at the end of this webinar, we will not be novices comp and ben conversation. We may not be able to build and all the rest, just after a 1 hour presentation, but at least we'll be armed with enough knowledge to steer the conversation if and when we need to. Not all of us in the journey of our career would have to build a pay structure from scratch, but inevitably we would have to manage whatever pay structure and provide advice on what our companies offer employees in terms of compensation and benefits. And it is important that we're armed with the right information to make meaningful conversations around this very important topic of comp and ben. All right, so by way of introduction, okay, um, I like the fact that there's some groundwork that's gone in because, you know, many people think compensation and benefit is just, about salaries. It's not. One thing I'd say is this: overall, compensation, whether we like it or not, right, is the elephant in the room we must address. Compensation is the top factor that job seekers consider when accepting a new job. All right. Um, in this, pardon my expression, in this, accept a job that is not progressive in terms of compensation and benefits. So, I would also need to state it that, do you know that compensation, benefits, and other, employee related costs account up to 70% of overall business costs? So this just highlights the fact that, look, comp and ben it's a very important conversation that we need to have. All right. So while salary is important, you know, salary is not the only important factor in making an employment decision. So two jobs could offer exactly the same salary, all right, but they may have vastly different um, um, benefits, that would make one job a better financial proposition overall than the other. And I'll give a practical example to this. I remember one time I was trying to hire for a senior um, associate role in my company. Basically my second. And do you know that we found it better than she was earning in her current organization? But guess what? She rejected the job offer. And can you guess why she rejected it? She said in her current organization, she comes to the office once or twice a week. And because she comes to the office only once or twice a week, um, even though we're offering her more money, she doesn't think she'd be able to come because we were not doing. I think we're just doing remote work. We just do remote work once a week, where you come to the office 4 times a week, and then you can work from home maybe once a week, and it's not even guaranteed for everybody. So because of that, she said no, she wasn't going to take the job. So when you lump compensation and benefits together, what you have is the total compensation package, popularly called concept. Oh, by the way, we're going to have a trivia at the end of the night. Maybe we might give a prize at the end of the trivia to see who scores the most points at the end of the trivia. So please let's just pay attention. All right. So the benefits may include things like, well, the comp and ben includes various things which we're going to look at. So let's start off with compensation. What exactly is compensation? So the easiest definition for compensation is your paycheck. Everything you see in the paycheck makes up your compensation. All right. Well, before we go, it's important to know that, see, this compensation is the foundation of your reward system. Okay. Everything that you can call your direct financial payments to employees in exchange for the work they do is classified as compensation. So it is important that and it must be seen as a fair and competitive, compensation structure. So what are those direct monetary payments employee receive in exchange for their work? So you look at your base pay, all right, or your fixed pay, as it may also be called. This is your guaranteed fixed regular pay for a work period, whether the payment comes monthly, whether it comes weekly, whether it comes quarterly. All right. So long as it's a fixed payment that the employee is guaranteed to receive, guaranteed pay. All right. Um, Next, you have your performance-based pay or your variable pay, as it's called. So now this particular payment is not fixed. There's no fixed amount per se, right? It is tied to achievement of certain milestones. Okay, these milestones could be in terms of sales, commission on sales. If you work in a factory where you pay each person based on what they physically produce, like maybe you manufacture phones, for example, okay, and the employees on the factory floor are paid per phone that they make. All right, that is a piece rate system. And then there's the shift pay. So some people earn more based on the longer amount of hours they put in. So the longer the hours you put in, the more your pay. Okay, then you have your incentive pay. Okay, this is any payment, cash payment, that is given as a reward for extra work done. Okay, so I mean, you are entitled to your base pay just by showing up at work that day. Okay, your variable pay, based on the quantum of work you do, you earn but your incentive pay is for going above. All right, you don't just hit your targets, you exceed your expectations, you earn a bonus. The company makes a profit and decides to share a portion of that profit to employees. It's called profit share. All right, there are some other companies that do stock options. Some people can also classify stock options as a benefit, because it's not really cash, although it can be converted to cash. All right, but six pieces, half a dozen. I've seen some people refer to stock options as benefits, and I've seen scenarios where stock options are referred to as compensation, because invariably you can monetize it. Okay, then there's what you call deferred pay. Deferred pay is a portion of employees' pay that is kept aside, maybe as a savings plan, an investment plan, annuities, all those make up your part of your paycheck. And then other allowances, okay, allowances for specific job related expenses. If there's a car allowance that is monetized, fuel allowance that is monetized, some
You will not
companies do
finish
data allowance.
Baba before you find 2 minutes. Eh? Only you will
Sorry,
need.
sorry. All right. Um, meal allowances that are monetized. Some companies do transport subsidies. All right, meal subsidies. So long as it is monetized, that's the definitive um, point. If it's monetized, it's part of your paycheck. Okay, and I've mentioned overtime pay for workers that do overtime. So even if you have a shift, right? If you stay at work beyond your normal shifts, okay, working beyond your stated hours of your work week, that qualifies as your compensation. So these are the broad categories of what makes up your compensation. Please, if there's a question, you have a question at any point in time, rather than me speaking over your head, I think maybe if you could raise your hand, put your question in the chat box, or if there's a Q&A feature, drop the question there. The moderator can quickly call it to my attention. Or if you want to unmute and ask a question, please feel free to do so. I'll rather do it that way and make it as interactive as possible. And then benefits. Benefits are, commonly called your second compensation package, because they go beyond your paycheck and they offer employees a financial protection. They offer security, they offer work-life balance support, and they meet specific needs that cash may not be able to meet. All right. So specific benefits offered can vary depending from company to company, industry to industry. In some industries, certain benefits are compulsory, right? They are statutory, in fact. And for certain levels, you have certain benefits that are exclusive to certain job levels. So for example, certain job levels have gender for certain job levels, okay? And you can design, the interesting thing is you can design your benefits package so that it can speak or resonate to the needs of your demographics of your workforce. So you can classify benefits under four main categories. Your benefits at work, okay? This could include, I know flexible work hours is it's a given, okay? Okay, well, remote and flexible hours, it's a given that it's in high demand now. Pay time off, robust leave, if your company provides food and beverages, training opportunities, training and development opportunities, um, gifts and activities. So some companies provide discounts on products, buy gift vouchers for certain employees. And then we can look, okay, let me even talk about just one. I know we are all familiar with maternity leave, paternity leave. How many of us are familiar with grandparents leave? It sounds funny, right? But not too long ago, I was actually asked, an employee who is a grandmother, okay, her daughter gave birth, and um, she needed leave to go take care of her grandchild. You know what's it called? Omugo. Omugo. Yes. So this employee who is a grandmom wanted grandparents leave to go and do omugo for her um, granddaughter. Yes, omugo. Thank you. Pension is classified as deferred pay. Pension is a statutory, yes, you can classify it as deferred pay, especially if the employee wants to buy an annuity. Um, yeah. Diana Abasi is right. Especially if the employee, well, does some companies do what you call additional voluntary contribution on behalf of their employees. So that means instead of the statutory 10% that the employer is bound to pay on behalf of the employees, some companies I know of pay as high as 20%. And that 20% that the company pays on behalf of the employees can qualify as deferred pay. All right. Ebenezer says car loan for staff. Yes, a car loan. Now that's a tricky one. In some companies, is the amount for the car, Ebenezer, if you can clarify, is the amount for the car given to the employee as cash? And if you give the employee as cash, is the employee duty bound to buy the car? All right, because some companies will buy the car for you, it's a benefit in kind. Now, some companies will give you the money and say, go and buy the car for yourself. Also a benefit in kind. All right. And some companies will monetize it. Okay. If you don't want to buy the car, they monetize it. The moment it is monetized, it is an allowance. Okay. It's not a compensation. It's not a benefit anymore. It's now part of your compensation. Okay, Ebenezer says car loan. The employee doesn't receive the cash for the what's it called? Okay, the car company gives the employee a loan to buy a car. Is that what you're saying, Ebenezer? Okay, yeah. So if the company gives the employee the loan amount to buy the car, it's a benefit. Because the loan, is it will the employee be paying an interest on the loan? Or if it's an interest-free loan, then clearly it's a benefit because it's not part of the employee's paycheck. All right. So I'll just move on. I'm scooting through different screens. So if I don't get to your question immediately, I'll come back to your question. Maybe I'm not on that screen at the moment. So we understand we have Benefits at work, benefits for health. So benefits for health will include healthcare, wellness, employee assistance program. Wellness would include mental health as long as alongside physical health. Okay, and then you have financial security benefits. Pension is a benefit because especially the contribution um, the employer makes on his behalf deferred. Group life insurance, group personal accident insurance, stock options. Again, I say stock options. Some people count it as cash under compensation. Some people classify it under benefit because it can be monetized. You can sell it, you can keep it, you can do what you want with it. Staff discounts on company products and all of that. Employees earn it and enjoy a certain discount. That can also count as a benefit. Lifestyle benefits include remote work options, commuter plans. If your company has provides official car, status car, staff bus. um, some companies partner with this shuttler to provide, movements options for their employees. Some companies, what do they call it? They do car parks. They provide car parks, so that employees can park their vehicles without any concern for the security of their vehicles. Some companies has even gone as far as providing crash services for their employees. All right, all these things, that employees enjoy all qualify as benefits. So much ado about this compound, Ben. Why is it so important? Why do we think it's such an important topic to discuss? Yes, Morelake says a car loan is a benefit in kind. Very correct. All right, so there are several reasons why understanding compound Ben is very important. Okay, first of all, in this day and age where the war for talent is global, it's across borders, international borders. We need to start being creative about our compensation and benefits package. All right. Um, a friend of mine, in fact, I am really jealous of this friend of mine. He just got a job. He's working in Nigeria. He got a job in a Dubai-based company, and he's in Nigeria here. He's earning salary as an expatriate here in Nigeria, living in Nigeria, working in Nigeria. And it's going to be difficult for any company in Nigeria to match that. It's going to be very, very difficult because talent will always be in demand, especially good talent. Therefore, this talent, they are likely also to know the value they possess, and they will negotiate with companies for a compensation and benefit package that matches the value they bring to the table. So, like I said, you must create a desirable mix of both direct and indirect compensation options that are relevant and relevant benefits that can help you bring top talent into your organization and give you a competitive edge. Sorry to say, any company that is not thinking of, if you're not providing some sort of hybrid work or remote work options, you'll quickly be left behind in the Stone Age. Okay. It can also improve employee motivation and job satisfaction. So, on one hand, an undesirable compensation compound bearing package that is below standards or practice or averages in the industry will leave your employees feeling dissatisfied. Okay. I remember a company I was working in, and employees were crying literally for to be able to work from home, even if it's once a week, because they saw all their colleagues, their friends, their family members were all working, they all had the opportunity to work from home, and they were wondering why is their own case different. In fact, when we did an employee pulse survey during the town hall meeting, it was the number one point for employees. They wanted to be able to work from. So we get the box if we want to keep our people motivated. Okay. If your compound ben package is not attractive or motivating, what will happen? There will be increased absenteeism, there will be increased turnover, and this would further exacerbate the low morale in the organization. Okay, so if your organization is not in a position to improve its direct compensation, maybe because of budget or whatever, you should think about the other non-monetary perks you can offer employees to motivate them to perform. So it's not always about money. Okay. We can just think of creative ways apart from money that would motivate your employees. What are these creative ways? If there's anyone you could put in the chat box, and just think. And for me, when people ask, oh, what are the things you can do in your company to motivate employees? For me, I say the best way to know what to motivate your employees is to ask them. If you want to buy me a birthday present, don't just buy me any gift. Ask me what I would like. Okay, ask your employees, engage with them. All right. Once you engage with them, you will know what they want. You will know what would resonate with them. Remote work option, yes, if it resonates with your workforce, especially if your workforce is largely made up of Gen Zs and millennials. Okay, free lunch, I love that option. That's a great suggestion, Christiana, especially if you work in a manufacturing environment, right, where you cannot shut down operations to have employees go outside to get lunch. In such situations, in such industrial settings, it's important that lunch and that free lunch go a long way. I remember when I was changing jobs once, it was one of the things that I missed in my previous company, because in my previous company, I didn't need to think about buying lunch at work or what I will have for lunch at work, because we had a staff cafeteria, and you just go there and you point and kill, as they say. A staff lounge, great suggestion. Free spa, awesome. If employees are into spa, centralized music and stuff. Oh, nice one. So please, when you see these suggestions, right, you can't, there's no one size fits all. So look at what would resonate with your people, what would resonate with, align with your company culture, and then go ahead and create something that would make meaning. Indoor gym. I mean, beautiful. I worked in a company where we had an indoor gym, we had an indoor crèche. So we partnered with, we had gym instructors, we had an aerobics instructor, we had instructors for different aspects of fitness that will come to take sessions. Yes, create a poll, let people vote. Do even as little as, one of my somewhere I worked before, our office was somewhere close to one of the toll gates when the toll gates were still active. Do you know that as little as creating toll cards for employees so that they don't have to be paying, because we calculated it, if an employee is paying 300 naira going and coming through the toll gates, so that's about 600 naira every day. If we give them a card, where the company picks up the free annual medical checkup, great. That's awesome. All right, so again, it's not about money. Okay, think about different non-cash benefits that would speak to employees. It would increase your loyalty and engagement. Yes, employees stay loyal to a company where they feel appreciated, and that's just human beings. People like to go where they feel respected and appreciated. So yes, we've mentioned childcare, flexible work options, health and wellness memberships, product discounts. All these things will help your employees feel more committed to the company's mission. They can improve productivity because, let's look at a benefit like a commission, okay, where um salespeople can earn a commission on every sale they make. They will be motivated to make more sales, right? You can also put in performance related bonuses, okay, so that employees know that if they hit their targets, they get XYZ bonus. Okay, so these are things that the right compensation and benefits package can address. All right, team rewards if you want to promote collaboration. All right, these are things you can also find. And then retention. Okay, so data out there suggests that the average cost of replacing an employee is between 1.5 to 2 times the employee's annual salary. So in plain English, what that means is it's cheaper to retain than to replace employees. All right. And guess what? For your senior roles, it is even more difficult and more expensive, aside from the financial costs. Okay. You even have to look at the other associated costs that turnover could cost an employee, in terms cost an organization rather, in terms of productivity, in terms of morale, in terms of institutional knowledge. So your compensation and benefits package can also help you retain your existing employees and reduce recruitment costs and any other significant absences in the company. And then finally, wellness and adhering to market standards. So, apart from, for example, please, who knows what's the new minimum wage again? Who knows? Or is it not yet official? But what's an idea of what the new minimum wage is? Right? 62K. Okay, fine. So let's assume the minimum wage, the new minimum wage is 62. Even not yet. Somebody is saying 100K. Is it 100 or 62? Which one is it? Anyone? All right. Okay, so tentatively, is it 100 or 62? Which one is it? 62. All right. So let's assume. Okay, thank you. So your everybody's compensation plan. Let's assuming it is really 62K. I hope we know that those cleaners, those paying 50K, your entire pay structure, best time to treat compensation and benefits, because now HR professionals need to learn how to build pay structure. Because if your pay structure, okay, labor says 250K, tripartite committee says 62K. So let's assume they land somewhere around 100K. All right. We all know that currently companies are not paying, not all companies pay even up to that. So we are going to start building our pay structure. Now, this is not, we won't be able to go into building pay structure here in this webinar, but that means when building pay structure, our base level, the base minimum base pay is going to be 100K. And let us say the lowest grade level in your company is maybe entry level. Yeah, you create your pay bands, right? The minimum level in the pay band, thank you, Moralake. The minimum level in your pay band is going to be 100,000 naira. So let's imagine the minimum level is currently, let's say, 45,000 naira. You know that you are going to rebuild your pay structure from bottom up. I hope all the HR professionals on this call and those listening online, we are all going to have to rebuild our pay structure based on the new minimum wage that is being created. Are we all aware of this? So for those that don't know how to build pay structure, you have to learn. There are formulas for this, and yes, you're going to have to sit down and learn, go get somewhere where you learn how to build the pay structure from ground up using the new minimum wage. All right. And then, so that leads us to this next topic. So how do you design a competitive comp and ben package? Okay. So there are certain steps to take. First of all, you need to decide what your pay philosophy is. Okay. Do you want to lead? Do you want to lag? Do you want to match? So by pay philosophy, that means how do you want to price yourself? price your salary, quote and unquote, you know, in comparison to your competitors or comparator organizations. 50th percentile, we'll talk about percentile later on. So, but the bottom line is, do you want to offer a premium? Do you feel that your organization has, there are some companies that have such a good brand that they don't need to offer the best salary. They know that anytime they advertise a job, people will apply. And then the mere, what's it called? The goodwill or the equity associated with that employer brand gives their staff bragging rights out there. There are many private firms. Do you know that there are some Chinedu and Sons Limited that offer better salaries to Amina Balogun? If you were to choose to where you would work, would you prefer to work with Chinedu and Sons Limited, or would you prefer to work with offering you 2 times the salary you would earn working in Deloitte? I mean, now just to put you on the spot, which would you choose, Chinedu and Sons or Deloitte? Anyone? Comments? All right, Amina says Deloitte. Great. Because of the employer brand. Okay, Jumoke says easy peasy. Everybody's saying Deloitte. Nobody wants to earn a kidnapper's ransom as salary with Chinedu and Sons Limited. Nobody? Why? Anyone? The benefits of working with Deloitte, exactly. So even a company like Deloitte, now back to this illustration, do you know that Jumoke says Chinedu and Sons does not have the sustainability, the branding, the etc. that a Deloitte has? Okay, Deloitte will be good for career progression. You know, yeah, you're correct. Everybody is correct. Financial security, Mr. Chinedu can pack up shop tomorrow and say he's going to Hawaii. Job security, exactly. William is correct. Okay, Wumi is correct. Yes. So, do you know that a company like Deloitte can afford a lagging pay philosophy and they would still be able to attract top talent? Does anyone disagree with me? Because they already have a very viable employer brand. And on the flip side, a Chinedu and Sons Limited can afford to have a leading pay philosophy and still not be able to attract the best in class talents. Just by this illustration, the feedback from everybody on the call. Many of us said even if Chinedu and Sons Limited offered them twice the salary, that's 100% increase in salary compared to what Deloitte offers them. They would still prefer to work in Deloitte. I mean, that's an interesting position. In this Tinubu economy, everybody say they still prefer to work with Deloitte than Chinedu and Sons Limited with the kidnapper's ransom salary that Mr. Chinedu offers you. Okay, I mean, that says all the are very risky to work with a one-man business. Although, but let's say the truth, one-man businesses, they make up 80% of the jobs in the labor market, to be honest with you. Anyway, but that's another talk for another day. No need to digress. So Deloitte have a good work culture. So Elizabeth says she'll go with Deloitte based on that. Beautiful. So work culture is also a benefit. All right. Anyway, so point is this: when you're designing your comp and bend package, put in mind, if you are a Chinedu and Sons Limited, you will need to lead. All right. If you already have a wonderful employer brand like Deloitte, you can afford to lag. Okay. And if you are somewhere in between, like give me a company that is in between that can match and they'll be fine. They'll still be able to attract top talent. They don't need to offer a premium. They are okay. They offer just something fair. They will attract. They are a known brand. They don't need to break the bank to attract talent, and they don't need to low ball as to attract talent. Anyone in the middle and still attract quality talent. Okay, Philips Consulting. Okay, that's fine. Philips Consulting. Yes, they have a good brand. They have a good brand, to be honest. MTN. Yeah, they don't. The competition is not so fierce, so MTN can offer something comfortable, and they would still be able to attract top talent. Yes, Nigerian breweries. Yes, these are known brands. That they don't lag. Okay. All right, great stuff. Great stuff. Thanks for the contributions. All right, and then once you've formulated your pay philosophy, the next step is to, but bear this in mind, please. When you are formulating your pay philosophy, don't just say, "Oh, let us lead. Oh, let us lag. Oh, let us match. Oh, let us play in the 75th percentile. Oh, let us play in the 25th percentile. Or let us just be at the 50th percentile of the market median." All right, you need to look at other factors, the financial capability of your company. They call it ability to pay, right? If you are Chinedu and Sons Limited and you can actually afford to pay a premium, that's fine. Because there are many Chinedu and Sons, there are and Sons Limited that can afford to pay better than MC Limited, that can afford to pay better than some known PLCs out there. Okay, so ability to pay is very, very key. All right. I think that's the first thing to look at in building, in articulating your pay philosophy. Look at your industry. All right. As MTN knows how much the pay is in the telecoms industry. All right. And they benchmark their pay to be at par with what's obtainable in the telecoms industry. So if somebody says, oh, they're coming from the banking industry, right? If I'm hiring somebody from a banking industry background, I just need to know, oh, okay, what grade level are you? Are you an ABU? Are you a BU? Are you a manager? We know what's the compensation package. All right. Right. And if you are in that industry, you can industry. All right. Look at your business objectives, salary, market salary information. Sometimes even there are some roles that are so difficult to find that when you find them, oh my lord, you just have to pay a premium. I remember, and I'll give a practical example, right? I worked for a company where we were trying to recruit for a role. We're trying to recruit for a role for almost 1 year. Almost 1 year. Do you know that when we finally got a candidate, 1 year later, my company went as far as um, 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 what's it called? My company went as far as offering this person a bonus in dollars. I'm telling you, just to attract him and just to try to retain him. Nigerian staff, he was the only staff that was offered that in his offer letter, written black and white, that if you join us, we'll pay you XYZ amount in dollars. All right. And, you know, I'm not going to go into further details, but that's what it was. That's what it came to. All right. Because that particular role was a very difficult to fill role. All right. So you do your research, find out what similar companies are offering for comparable positions. Factor in cost of living in your area. All right. So on international organization or a company with branches in different different geographical locations. So you cannot compare if you have a branch in, let's say you have a branch or subsidiary in what state has a low cost of Jos, for example. You can't compare the cost of living in Jos to the cost of living in Lagos State. All right. So Ekiti, okay, beautiful one. So the cost of living in Ekiti is definitely lower than the cost of living in Lagos State, right? So if you have you know, you would have to have a separate pay structure if needed for those for those branches or subsidiaries in those states, because the cost of living is not the same. All right, so there is no one size fits all approach to this. Okay. So next, you have to tailor the benefits to suit the needs of your workforce. So what are the benefits that will appeal to a young workforce? Number one, we all know, is remote work, right? The young workforce, they don't want to come to the office Monday to Friday. What else would appeal to the younger workforce? Anyone? What other benefits would appeal to the young workforce? Are we there? Work-life balance, flexible work hours. Let's be specific. When you say work-life balance means what? There are many things that could come under work-life balance. Flexible work hours, beautifully correct, Joy. Okay. TGIF, I was waiting for that. I was really waiting for that. Transportation support, bus services to and fro, reward and recognition, remote work, stock options, fund socially connected. Okay, these are to spend their money. They want the company to spend their money, take them out. They want to party. They want to socialize. They want professional growth opportunities. Correct. All right. Let's look at the other side of the pendulum. Your older workforce, your veterans, your Gen X, your Gen Y. Okay, no, not Gen Y. Gen Y are millennials. Your Gen X, your traditionalists, your baby boomers. What are the benefits that would appeal to them? Job security. Okay, yes, they want job security. What else? Salary. The Gen Y, Gen X, do they want salary? Yes. Okay, everybody wants salary increase. Okay, yes. Retirement plan. Exactly. Gratuity package. Exactly. I agree with that 100%. They want a robust rate to make that point. Okay. Claim pay discrimination comparison to their colleagues in America and Europe, considering the cost of living in those countries. Where the Kenyan staff, they were not justified, I'm sorry to say, because the cost of living in Europe and America cannot be compared to the cost of living in Kenya, especially if you look at very expensive cities like California, New York, Washington. Those are extremely expensive cities to live in. You can't compare it to the cost of living in Nairobi. Are you kidding me? No, no, that's unrealistic. It's not a realistic. There's no discrimination because your pay plan, all right, your compensation plan is geographic, is specific to your geographic location. All right, you cannot have a single pay plan for a global workforce, not possible. Chioma says for the older workforce, a good health plan. Exactly. In fact, where's my thumbs up to that? Chioma, yes. Reverse mentoring, awesome. That's what they want. The older workforce are not too hot on L&D because they are already seasoned professionals. All right. They have masters, they have PhD, they are fellows of their professional institutions. You know, they want to be able to mentor and they want to be reverse mentored. Those are the kind of L&D initiatives that would appeal to them. you know, health plan, yes, awesome. Okay, tuition sponsorship for their kids, beautiful, nice one, blessing. And those are they are the ones that want grandparents leave. They are the ones that fought me for grandparents leave, grandmother leave, to go and do omugo. All right, so great stuff. So the idea is that, and then finally, ensure your package is compliant with all labor laws and regulation. Okay, so based on the labor law should be your minimum standard for your below the minimum wage. Your what's the number of leave days? Let me do a little trivia here. What's the number of leave days prescribed in our Nigerian labor law? Number of leave days an employee is entitled to in the Nigerian labor law. Who knows that? Anyone? So 20 days. Which labor law? Nigerian labor law, 28 days. Correct. So the labor law provides for 6 days leave after how many days of continuous employment? After how many days of continuous employment? After 1 year. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, after 1 year, is it? Yeah. After 1 year of continuous employment, you're entitled to. So what that means is that is the minimum standard. Of course, we know best practice. Nobody does 6 days except is I don't want to, let me not call out anybody, but I know it's only some certain type of companies that stick to that minimum standard, and I think time has overtaken that, and we've seen. Okay, Amina caught me. I didn't want to call those companies that do it, but there are some. It's not me that puts the name. I didn't put the name of the company. You can see there in the chat, but it's not Patrick that said it. For the records, yes. Some companies, will stick to that minimum standard as insufficient as it is. Yes, Diana, yes, that is what the labor laws provide. So what this is instructive for us to note is that the law serves as a minimum standard. Is not your goal. Pension, minimum standard for NSITF, life insurance, HMO, leave days, maternity leave, paternity leave, even though it's not provided for in the labor law, but yes, all that counts. So now I'm trying to work with time. How do we now? There will be issues. Okay, let me just tell you the truth. It is only a pay structure that was designed by God in heaven that will be perfect. All right, only a comp and bend plan made by God in heaven for us that will be perfect. As long as it was made by Ebenezer, by William, by Joy, by Diana, by Patrick, by Titi Lola, by Blessing, by Amina, by Shei, guess what? There will be problems there will be perceived problems, right? And we need to be prepared for these problems when they come. If I tell you that there will not be problems, I lie. Okay, so how do you deal with these problems, and what kind of problems should we expect? All right. First is the problem of internal equity. Okay, this means that you compensate employees with comparable positions or skills within your English language. Why should um the gatesman? Okay, no, I don't know if you've noticed in some companies, why should the accountants earn more than the which role can I use? The HR officer. Why? Is it equitable internally in the company? Okay. That's a comparable position, right? Is it the same skill? No, that's not even an apple for apple comparison. Let me compare. Why should the accountant earn more than the driver? I think that's acceptable for a driver to earn more than an accountant, chartered accountant. Anyone? Why? And then if you say no, they shouldn't earn the same thing, right? Why should the accountant earn more than the driver? Anyone? Give me one reason why an accountant should earn. Anyone in the chat? Skill set, education, the job technicality, the skill set required to do the job, level of education, correct. These are all valid reasons why an accountant, it will not be equitable more than why sorry, it won't be equitable for a driver to earn more than an accountant. We're not going to be able to do job evaluation. Tomiwa, I know where you're coming from. Tomiwa is correct. Tomiwa has hit the nail on the head. This is a webinar. We will not be able to go into the details of job evaluation, right? But by the time you evaluate the job, you would see categorically clear why one job is rated more valuable and would command a higher other job. But tell me why I think you were spot on. External equity. Okay, so it's one thing for you to do your internal equity, and it's one thing to compare. So guess what? The world is a global village now. So when you look at the broader market and industry, okay, how much are you paying your drivers compared to what drivers are earning in the industry out there? Okay, and employees have this information. I kid you not. So how much do you pay your employees compared to what their peers out there in the industry are earning? So that is another issue because they will ask them, say, look, my colleague in XYZ company is earning this amount. Here, see how much you are paying us. These are things that we would all deal with. And then the perceived equity. All right. Yes, we know salary is confidential. Nobody should know each other's salary, but everybody just of ending up knowing everybody else's salary. Experience that salary has never been confidential, right? I don't know if anybody has had similar experience with me. And guess what? They all end up looking. I don't know why they all suspect. HR is always the suspect. I don't know why. Why is it we that they suspect leaking salary information? I have no idea. But it is well. God, it's one of the crosses we bear in the HR profession we all choose. So once people know each other's side, then there's this perceived equity of why is Choma any more than Shade? Why is Shade any less than Nike? You know, Thomas says, who else would they suspect? Are we the only one that has access to pay information? Finance also have access to, but they never suspect finance. They never suspect internal audits. They never, I don't know why. But it is well, like I said, it is the cross repair. We will not complain. We are the easy fall guy when it comes to this. It's HR, it must have leaked from HR. It's okay, no problem. And then we look at executive compensation. This is another careful issue because senior level management employees, they play a vital role in our companies, and your compensation, your executive pay, must be able to, affordable for the company and also enough to, attract these C-suits and professionals to your organization. These are the people that you need. You get hire those C-suits, you give them vehicle for themselves and vehicle for their family, provide driver, generator, everything, every single thing. In fact, there was one executive we hired. When I looked at the benefits this man was entitled to, I asked myself one day, I said, so what does this man spend his money on? All right. We pay his children, especially if you have expatriates MCs, you will pay for their house, you furnish the house, you buy diesel, you pay for their utilities, you pay for their domestic staff. So if you pay for their domestic staff, pay for generator, pay their children's school fees, they have 2 vehicles. So ask me, I don't know, please, can anyone answer this question? So we pay for social club membership, professional club membership, they have what do you call it, company tabs in different high-class clubs and restaurants. Okay, please, anybody, what do they spend their money on? I'm telling you, their children's school fees is already catered for. Can anyone help me? So what do they now spend their okay. I didn't say that though. I saw something in the chat and I will I will not read that out. But I'm curious. I'm curious, very curious. If you ask me now, who we go ask? Interesting, yes. So Messi knows what they are spending their money on. No, Messi seems to have some inside information on what they spend. That's it. These executive pay, and I'll tell you why they think why it's something we need to be careful of. I worked in a company, and do you know that during the global recession, Patience says they spend their money on clothes. They have clothing allowance, Patience, they have clothing allowance. So they have local allowance, they have foreign currency, and when they travel, per diem is more than per diem they earn in dollars. There's an executive I know of in a company. It's per diem when he travels out is $5,000 per day. If you travel and you use your per diem is $5,000 per day per day. Lord, there is a God somewhere. When they are sharing this type of jobs, where is Patrick? But there is, don't worry, we get there. Anyways, do you know that during the global, yes, their utilities are all paid for, William, correct? Do you know that during the global recession, there was recession everywhere? There was a global crunch, as we call it, for those who remember the global crunch of back in the day. That's about 220. That's the period Obama was president. Yeah, who can remember the period of the global crunch, economic crunch? What year was that? It skipped my head. But anyway, during the global economic crunch, right? That company bought brand new Prado Jeeps for all their executives. Yes, 2007, 2008, thereabouts. Thank you for that. During the global economic crunch, this company bought all their executives. Now, of course, it's HR, we bought it. HR and admin, we bought it. Do you know, because of the perceived inequity, do you know what we did? We couldn't deliver the new fleet of vehicles to them in the office. All of them, we parked the fleet of vehicles in an off-site location, and they sent their drivers to that off-site location to go and pick up their new vehicles and take it to their homes. And then they now started launching it to the office, gradually, like 3-4 months after they've taken possession of the vehicle. These are the things in executive pay you're going to have to deal with. And you will have to manage the perceived equity. Okay? Somebody mentioned this, and we're talking about this now. Geographical differentials. Okay? So suppose your business has team members who live in different cities or even different countries. In that case, salaries should vary to account for the cost of living in those different locations. This is especially relevant in remote work, in the remote workplace for compensation. Yes, you should. If so, why? And if not, why not? Okay. So how are you going to communicate the difference to your candidates and employees? Do you know that even per diem for traveling out, right, on business trips, you can't even have one per diem for all countries. So let's imagine, can you give the same Kong? Anyone? Is that a yes or no? Do you think it's the same per diem you pay for traveling to Ghana and traveling to Hong Kong? Are we together? I know that anyone? Obviously, the cost of living in Ghana and the cost of living in Hong Kong are worlds apart. Worlds apart. You could give somebody $120 per day in Ghana and they'll be fine. But trust me, $120, I doubt it will pay your Uber fee in Hong Kong. Just Uber alone it will not even cover Uber per day. Or you want to buy a meal, eat a proper meal in a country like Hong Kong. But $120 per day in Ghana, you're a big boy. You're okay. You're very, very okay. All right. Okay. So someone says this is not the case for national companies. This is why you have some folks working in a company of countries living in their posh houses, while those in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja, yes, are struggling with house rent. You are very correct. How much is rent in Lagos? How much is rent in Ekiti State? Somebody says Ekiti State. What's rent in even in Lagos? Rent is not even the same everywhere. How much is rent in Oniru compared to how much is rent in Ikorodu? But we can't, go that far. Okay. But the least we can do is recognize that, look, those staff living in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, those are the most expensive cities to live in Nigeria. So I'll ask this question. Somebody travels to Ekiti. Will you pay the person the same per diem to somebody that travels to Abuja? We are HR professionals. Let's answer this question. What is the cost of hotel in Ekiti and the cost of a standard hotel in Abuja? Is anyway, sorry about if you come from Ikorodu, Mabinu Adejoke, no beef to Ikorodu. I have much love for my Ikorodu brethren. Okay. All right. So Abuja will definitely be higher than Ekiti, obviously. So all right. So naturally, I would expect an Abuja should get a higher out of station allowance compared to the person traveling to Ekiti State. So these are the geographical differentials that should come to play when thinking about comp and ben. And then rewarding niche jobs. So there are certain roles that are difficult to fill, hard to fill, difficult to replace. All right. And then finally, your compensation should address salary growth. For example, the inflation rate is what's the inflation rate is above 30%. Where there's a travel or out of state, where there's this is where the travel or out of station allowance comes in. Okay. Yeah, but Adebola, that's the point I'm saying. You cannot have the same out of station allowance for all states. All right. So inflation rate is about between 33 to 37%. Okay. As your salary increased by 33 to 37%, Anybody? As your salary increased by 33 to 37%. Because the inflation rate means that your salary, your take-home pay is being devalued year on year by 33 to 37%. So if you have a static pay structure that in 2 years you've not reviewed, you are left behind. Oh, employees left the group. Employees have left this group chat. Okay, so point is your pay structure cannot be static. If not, it will cause issues. Okay, so you have to review your pay structure on a regular basis. Okay, salary might not increase, but there can be introduction of cost of living COLA allowance. The COLA, okay, I'll address this, Busayo. COLA that was done last year, okay, do you think that COLA is still, what's the word? That COLA, is it still colaring, if I may borrow this terminology? Is it still working now? If you implemented COLA last year, do you think last year is when the president said subsidy is no more, right? And then madness was released. Okay. Now, subsidy, right? The COLA you did last year when the Mr. President, okay, great one there, Kena. The COLA that you did last year has turned to bitter COLA. It has turned to proper bitter COLA right now. So even the COLA you did last year, you need to revisit that COLA now. That COLA is no longer, I mean, so let's imagine you did COLA of how much? How much did you do COLA? Let's say you gave everybody an additional 200K increase in their salary. 200K from last year now to this time, by this time this year. COLA, subsidy is back. They say subsidy is no more. Subsidy went on annual leave. Subsidy has resumed from his annual leave now. So, and he's back with a bang. Okay, it's no more, it's Biggie COLA, now bitter COLA. Okay, great. All right, so finally, before we go to our trivia to wrap up, these are some metrics that we need to be aware of as comp and ben professionals, because if you hire those in the Big Four consulting to come do job evaluation, help you with your build your pay structure. These are the link. Okay, when you talk of, even if you buy a, you do a salary survey. Okay, these are some of the things, as these are the kind of conversations you'll be having. So it's important we know this. We're fast out of time, so I may not be able to do examples of how to calculate these things in detail. Hopefully, there are workshops that you could learn and you go into these things in detail, because there are mathematical formulas to calculate this and understand them. So salary range penetration, it helps us compare your salary across the organization and know what position of your salary is in its pay band. All right. So let's imagine Chiamaka's salary is, let's say Chiamaka is earning, let's say our salary is 450,000 naira. Okay. And the minimum salary in that pay band is 350,000 naira. While the maximum salary in that pay band is 600. This is Chiamaka's range penetration. In that means, where does she stand in her pay range? I don't know if anybody understands. This is going to be a bit technical, but we must talk tech, because comp and ben is technical. It's not a Turenshi course. It's not a body of knowledge that is just English. You must know these technical issues. So if Chiamaka is earning 450, the minimum is 350, maximum is 650. Slides, I will put these formulas in there so we could learn how to calculate them ourselves. But her pay range penetration is about 33.3% in her pay range. Okay, the more common one is the compa ratio, or comparative ratio. This one is most helpful and is most commonly used compensation metric out there. It compares an individual or a group salary with the midpoint of the defined salary range. Okay, so what that means is if the midpoint is, what's the midpoint between 350 and 650? Okay, let me pick. If the midpoint is 200 and the maximum is, okay, let's say the midpoint, the midpoint is 100,000 and the maximum is 1 million. Okay, the midpoint we all know is 50, right? 500,000. Good. So if the midpoint is 500,000 and somebody's salary is 450, okay, Chiamaka's salary is 450,000. In that case, it's very simple. 450,000 divided by 500,000 is 0.9. That's it. It's simple and straightforward. Okay. So, but implication is a low compare ratio, any compare ratio lower than 0, right? Less than 1, rather. Sorry. Any compare ratio less than 1 means that you can lose your best employees to organizations that offer a higher compensation rate. While a high compare ratio may indicate that you are overpaying your employees. So it's important we learn comparison. Your range spread refers to the range of pay used to compensate employees for their services. We've talked about the minimum range, the maximum range, the range midpoints. Those ones are easy to understand. And then we've also talked about the geographical differentials. So finally, let's do a little trivia, okay? These are some common comp and ben terminologies that we should know, right? And let's see what is, okay, total reward. We should all know what total reward is. Who knows? Okay, total reward. Anyone in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. What is total reward? Total reward, anyone? You could put your answer in the chat. Benefits, exactly, exactly. I'll give, I'll give an example myself, okay? Your total remuneration package, exactly. So I've had, recruitment these days is it's not been easy. I've had candidates. In fact, I was recruiting one time for a particular role, and I had a candidate tell me point blank, that if I'm not giving him an official car, not pool car, have you? No matter how much I give him his salary, he said he wants a car. All right. That shows that he was not just looking at the compensation, he was looking at the total reward. Total reward is everything we've spoken about. The work culture is part of the total reward. Though. Learning and development is part of the total reward. Okay, your remuneration package plus rewards, not just reward, everything about working there. Is it a toxic place? What is the employer brand? Do they promote? Do they train? Cases one told her that if you don't give him an SUV, God bless you, he's not taking the role. If not, hey, Jomake, you ain't seen nothing yet. Have you seen candidate that says they stopped driving Toyota products 5 years ago? So even on top of the SUV, the SUV cannot be Toyota products. So if you are buying SUV, it has to be, you're thinking of Lexus, you're thinking of, oh yeah, what else apart from Toyota SUV can you buy? What else? Which other products for those that buy cars? If the employee says they will not take Toyota products, and I'm serious, an executive position. He said he stopped driving Toyota 5 years ago for past 5 years, he has not driven a Toyota product. Honda. Somebody says they won't drive Toyota. Your blessing is saying you give the person Honda key. Lie, you will throw your Honda keys back at you. Yes, one of recent told Busayo that you have to prepare accommodation or give him a house. That's a given. If you are bringing somebody from outside Lagos and your company is in Lagos, think you won't provide accommodation. You will Busayo. Ken said the guy should show us he's gone already. Okay. When the person is driving a Benz, he drove a Benz to your office for the interview. You now want to give him Toyota products. He will not take it now. I'm sorry. He will not take it. It's a candidates market out there. So it's no longer just about the salary, all these, the total reward is very important. All right, gross pay, that one is a given. We all know. But yeah, I'm saying is a given. But yeah, what is gross pay? Let me not assume that is a given. I was thinking to focus on the more technical one. What is gross pay? Anyone? Okay, salary plus statutory deductions. Okay, it could be annual gross, it could be monthly gross before all statutory deductions. Exactly, salary plus allowance pay is salary less deductions. Okay, now let's go a little bit technical. Your total cash compensation or your total your TTC, your TTC is your sorry, I'll come back to you on the TTC. It just ran out of my head right now. But TTC and TCC. Sorry? Anyone who can remind me what TTC is? TTC.
In total cash compensation or total
No, that's
compensation
TTC.
cycle or total compensation cycle.
No.
Cost to company.
No, it's not that. Your total target cash, exactly. Total target cash. If you work with foreign recruitment firms, yes, total target compensation, TTC, while in Nigeria we call it TCC. That's your total cash compensation. So out of your compensation, the portion that is encashed is your TTC. I don't know if that is kind of clear, right? Then the TCE. What is TCE? Anyone?
Total compensation expense.
No. TCE is total cost of employment. Total cost per employee. Okay, well, total TCE can be total cost per employee, not total cost, is total cost of employment. So total cost of employment is different from, so everything that the employee costs you, everything. So when you're looking at total cost of employment, okay, yes, William, is total cost on employee, total cost of employment. William, you're very correct. 6 pieces, half a dozen. So when mentioning TCE, you are looking at everything. You're about to say, everything that the employee costs you. Thank you. It will include your HMO, group life insurance. If you are paying, if the employee earns, if the employee has an official car, how much does the official car cost the company? Okay, if the employee is entitled to a driver, employment. If the employee is entitled to domestic staff, the domestic staff will be assigned to that employee's cost of employment. If the employee is on a specialized. Okay, cost to company. Okay, yes. Globally, yes, it's called CTC. In Nigeria, it's called TCE. NSITF, ITF, pension, employers pension contribution, yes. Okay, great. So we're wrapping up. Let me just move on. Fixed pay or base pay, we've talked about that. Potential variable pay, we talked about it. Wages. How is wages different from salary? Does anyone know?
Yes.
Okay.
Salary is monthly.
Salary is what?
Monthly.
Yes, wages can be daily, weekly. Salary comes on a monthly cycle.
Hourly.
Exactly. Yes. Merit increase. A merit increase is an increase in salary awarded for good performance, right? That's different from your general increase, okay? And then broadbanding is where you sort of consolidate the pay range of similar jobs, okay? And you consolidate their pay together. And gain sharing is where an employee receives a financial share of the overall profit of the company. Okay, so I think I'm going to end here. If we have questions, feedback, comments, we can take it here. Questions, feedback, comments. Over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that you have done very well. Please, a virtual round of applause for our facilitator. Thank you very much, sir. It was an amazing session. We still have about 98 participants, so this shows that it was power-packed. Thank you very much. Thank you. If you have contributions, questions, please put them in the chat box so that I can read it out for our facilitator to answer our questions. So whatever we are taking on, whatever it is we have learned, let's put it in the chat box. For me, I have 3 things I'm taking home tonight. And one of them is that he said you must provide relevant benefits that will give you a competitive edge to attract top talent. That was one good thing I got from you. Then another one is, he said, poor compensation benefits can result to lateness, absenteeism, high turnover rate, and it will affect the overall organization goal. Then the last one is we should implement compensation and benefit strategies that align with our company culture. Thank you very much. I got this one. I am going to effect it. I will put them into practice. Thank you very much, sir. So please let us drop our contributions. Oh, Albert is saying it's a great session, that the room was filled to the brim. I tell you, this is 7:30 and the room is still filled till now. Thank you very much, sir. You did a wonderful job. Thank you. Chima says his takeaway is the best way to know how to compensate your employee is to ask them. Yes, I also got that. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Chima. Thank you for your contribution. Please let them keep coming. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat box. We are here to take your question. Mr. Patrick is ready to take your question and your contribution. Damilola is saying this is refreshing and engaging session. Thank you very much, Damilola, for this. Thank you. Please question, Mr. Patrick is waiting to answer all of your questions. Olamide is saying, I'm not clear on total reward and gross pay, sir. Olamide is saying she's not clear on the total reward and gross pay. So, Mr. Patrick, I don't know if you have something to say about this.
Gross fee thing, okay?
Hello, Mr. Patrick.
Hello? Yes, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear?
Yes. Olamide is asking a question.
Can you hear me? Am I audible?
She
All right.
said,
Your total reward. Yes, the difference between total rewards and gross pay. Okay.
Yes.
So your gross pay is simply your cash before tax or before statutory deductions. So let's say your gross pay is 500K per month, okay? And then your net pay, which you receive every month, is say 390 some, okay, yes, let's just say 390 something thousand naira, okay? That is what hits your net. Your total rewards is everything that you get from working in the company. Your salary, your leave days. If you have 30 leave days, it's part of your total reward. If you work from home twice a week, that's part of your total reward. If it's a progressive workplace called once a year, all of that is part of the total reward. If they have staff boss, if they give you lunch in the office, if they provide tea, beverages, if they provide accommodation, driver, all these are put together with your salary, your total rewards for working in the company. I hope that is clear. I was able to clarify the difference between the two.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick. Tolu is saying, Patrick, I like your slides. Somebody is complimenting your slides. Thank you very much, Tolu,
I will
for
share.
that.
Don't worry. No need to ask.
Okay. So there is another question here. Lami Konra Bukola is saying, thank you, Mr. Patrick, for this. However, I am just a baby HR. I don't know if you could recommend a book on how to grow from the basics to being a professional HR. Hello? Hello, Mr. Patrick.
There's
Is
so
it
many
not there?
books I can recommend. I read. Yes, can you hear me? I'm here. Can anyone else hear me?
Okay. Okay,
Hello?
we can hear you now.
Yes. Okay, great. So I'm going to recommend the book I read. Yes, sorry.
Please go ahead.
Hello. Hello. Okay, yeah. So the book I read on human is Handbook on Human Resource Management. Okay, you are a baby in HR and you want to learn everything about HR. I'm strong. Uh, um, on human resource, I can share the book. I have e-copies I can share with you. I share my contact details, or anyone can provide my WhatsApp details. Reach out to me. Yes, Handbook on Human Resource Management by Michael Armstrong. Armstrong, yes. Read.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Another person is asking a question. Oluwa Busayo says, my question is on the minimum wage. Hello.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Somebody is asking another question. She says, my question is on the minimum wage. If increased, what effect does it have on private organizations? And does that mean there must be review of salary?
So the short answer to that question is
Did you
yes.
get that?
Yes, there must be a review of salaries. Yes, I did. I said the short answer is to an extent there must be a review of salaries, and we can't
Okay,
run away from it. If the current minimum wage
okay.
is 30,000 naira,
Okay, thank you very much.
and then the minimum wage increases from say Ford to pay 100,000 naira, there must be some move to review yours.
Okay, someone is saying, I like the simplicity of your presentation and webinar. Oh, okay, another person is suggesting, Tolu is suggesting Handbook on Human Resource Management by Armstrong. So Tolu is suggesting Handbook for the person that says she's a baby HR person.
Yeah, that's what I recommended. I have the book.
Oh,
I can
okay.
share with anyone. I can share with you. Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm checking if there are other questions. Thank you. Okay, HR Bootcamp by Stella. Okay, thank you very much, sir. For now, I can't see any other questions. Are there contributions to make? If you have contribution, kindly raise your hand. If you want to speak, please raise your hand and I will ask you to speak. Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick, for joining us, for sharing your knowledge with us. We say thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate the time you have come to spend with us.
Please, do we have a group
evening.
chat for this platform?
Yes, there is a group chat for this platform. There is a group chat. There is a group for this chat. Don't worry.
I'm not in
What's your
any
name?
group. Please
Donatus?
send
Is it
link.
Donatus? We'll reach out to
Yes.
you. I will send it to you. I will
Okay,
send the
thank
group
you.
to you. Yes. So the attendance is on. If you are here, please click on the attendance link and get registered in the attendance. Then this session has been approved for 3 global HRCI recertification units. So if you have any HRCI certification, that is, if you have PHR, APHR, SPHRI, and the GPHRI, you can register for the certification for this session by clicking on the link in the chat box and get registered. A certificate will be given to you with a code on it that you can use for your recertification. So are there any other questions? No. For now, I can't see anything. Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick, for joining us this evening. So,
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure
okay.
and looking forward to other opportunities to share knowledge.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. Are there any other announcements?
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I just want to let you know that, like when it started, Patrick is also a member, is a member of HR, very much for a job well done. Lagos, this time around, I will call it it's a practical, it's a hands-on program on this same topic. And is also going to facilitate that. What day is that again? I think
22nd.
National Office Secretary. Thank you. So you can make it a date if you know that, okay, you really want to actually because it's going to be hands-on. So just look for the flyer. It comes with a token anyways, and normally
I don't know if he's still talking. I can't hear anything. Can anybody hear me?
No. We can't hear him, Gary, but we can hear you.
Apollo,
We can hear you. We can't hear Larry again.
Okay, Larry, I don't know if Larry has finished talking.
Yes, my network just glitched, so I just discovered I was on my own. So, but I wouldn't know whether you got the announcement. But that's all from me. Thank you.
No, can you please repeat it? Because your network was very bad. We couldn't hear you at the point anymore.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. So, okay, what I was